Yo, Jonathan Sports here. And today, I'm going to make I did one last week. I'm going to make another one. It's an NFC East breakdown. Because basically, every week that's gone on through the season, I just feel like I felt differently about which team's going to win the division and be the favorite. So I'm going to run through all the teams, and at the end, I'll give my idea of how I'm feeling about who's going to win a division after this week. So I figured I'd start off with the Eagles because I just watched the Seahawks game and they're a little bit more fresh in my mind. And so I'm probably going to talk about them a little bit more. But I'll just start off with some of the obvious stuff. It's like Doug Peterson. This dude looks like he don't know what he's doing at times. I mean, in my opinion, the Eagles should be a run-first team. They got the running back talent. I get they've had trouble with the O-line, but at the same time, passing 45, 50 times isn't the route to go. And then you're sitting there doing 5, 7 step drops repeatedly over and over and over. Carson Wentz is getting killed. On top of that, Carson Wentz has been pressing and playing a lot of hero ball this year, and it's just kind of been a disaster all the way around. But I'll start off by saying Miles Sanders is a weapon, and I get that he fumbles occasionally, but that's not an excuse to just not give him the ball. He needs to get more touches. Even if the running game isn't working, you need to keep trying. I mean, defense has been okay this year, pretty good. Giving them a little bit more extra time off the field, that's good. You should see an improvement in that department. And, I can't say this enough. You cannot throw the ball 50 times a game, especially when the pass protection is not holding up. You can't win that way. And on the Carson Wentz, he's missed a bunch of throws and made poor decisions this season because he's playing hero ball. He's got a young team. They're not good. They're not as talented as they used to be. And it is what it is. But it's not all on Carson. I think Carson is a good quarterback. The coaching is not doing him any favors here. And when your O-line is just getting demolished, you just can't. You got to stop with the 7-step dropbacks. You got to be smarter. And also, the team has dropped a bunch of easy passes, really easy passes. And you can't have that, especially when your offense is struggling and you're having a hard time getting points. So Carson has been bad this year, but I don't think he's as bad as he's played this year. I don't think he's that bad of a quarterback. I'm not saying he's a top 5 quarterback, like that everybody was saying he was a few years back, like 2017, I guess, but he isn't this bad. I'll say that. I think the injuries have played a part in this season, well, since 2017. But the biggest thing to me is the scheme. Excuse me. Wentz does well on rollouts and making throws on the run, but the head coach stubbornly doesn't call many plays like that. And I'm a guy on my couch and I can see this. So I don't know how he's not seeing it. I know the Eagles won a Super Bowl a few years ago, but they need a coaching change. Not necessarily Peterson himself being fired, but bring in a real offensive coordinator that's willing to do the little things that a successful offense has to do to win. And if Peterson isn't willing to give up to play calling, then I'd move on. I'd move on from him. If I was the owner, I'd gotta go. And I've read some reports and I watch a few Eagles content creators, and some of them are saying he don't even care if he gets fired, and that's not good. That's the wrong attitude to have. And I didn't really go into defense because, Jim Schwartz has been outcoached a couple times this year, but I don't feel like he's the problem. The defense has been okay. If the offense was competent, the defense is good enough to win this year. And I know there's some people that are killing Schwartz, but I think he's an okay coach. He's okay. You can win with him. You can win with his defense. So I'm not even going to get into that. So now I'm going to move on to the Washington football team. And Washington annihilated the Cowboys. They've been playing really good. Alex Smith can still ball. Straight up. And if you give him time in the pocket, he'll make you pay. Now, if you get pressure on him and you get in his face, he'll make poor decisions. And as Giants fans, we've seen that last game we played him. Now, to me, that's the factor to wins and losses for Washington. If Washington protects Alex, they'll win. If they can't, they'll lose. But the running back, Antonio Gibson, is starting to show out. it's looking like he's going to be a good player. Washington has as good of a running back one and wide receiver one as anyone in the NFC East right now. So I don't need to say much about Washington's defense. We all know the firepower they got on the defensive line. They're a problem. They're a problem. Washington's got a brutal schedule right along with Philadelphia. But when you got a defense as talented as Washington, I mean, you always got a puncher's chance. So that's what I'll say about them. Now, on to the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm not quite sure what to think of the Cowboys. Andy Dalton can look great one moment, horrendous the next. Ezekiel Elliott looks like a shell of himself. And suddenly, he can't even hold on to the damn ball. I mean, every game it feels like at least once he's putting the ball on the ground. Now, the defense started to look better the past few weeks, and then the Washington game happened. So it seems like the defense was hanging in there, kind of, like right up until the fourth quarter, and then they just completely fell apart. The Cowboys, if you ask me, the Cowboys could easily have only one win on the year right now. But they're just a disaster, and it seems like they hired the wrong head coach. I can't say that enough. There's all kinds of reports about, players don't respect him, he's lost the team. I don't know. I would be shocked if McCarthy is the Cowboys head coach next season. I think they got to get him out of there. And, Cowboys got one of the easiest schedules in the NFL, like, for the rest of the way. But I would be amazed if they got, one win? More than one win? I'd be shocked. Maybe they get one win. I mean, they still play the Eagles in Washington. Maybe they get one of them. I just don't see it. I'm not seeing it. And then on to my New York Giants. And first and foremost, the Daniel Jones injury, it makes me a little nervous in the grand scheme of winning the NFC East. If the Giants want any chance, I mean, Jones can't miss more than this next week. I counted the Seattle game as a loss anyways. He can't miss any more than that. If he misses 3 weeks, it's done. It's over for us. The offense has struggled enough with Jones in there, and I think we got no chance at all beating any of the next 4 teams left on the schedule with Colt McCoy. I'm sorry, I know he's a nice guy, and don't get me wrong, Colt's not an awful. He's not awful. He's not an awful player, but these are all good teams we're playing, and the Giants defense has played pretty damn good this year. But we've seen the last 4 or 5 weeks, they've started to actually get turnovers, at a bigger clip. And if they want any chance at winning any one of these next 4 games, the defense will have to have great outings, and they're going to have to keep getting turnovers like they have been. So anyways, in last week's breakdown of the NFC East, I felt like the Giants had the best chance to win the NFC East. But after the Daniel Jones injury and the game we saw out in Dallas and between Dallas and Washington, I'm not feeling great at all. Again, another week where I feel like a different team is going to win it. This has been every week for me. I felt different. And if I had to put my money on it right now, I'm putting my money on Washington just because Daniel Jones was, if Daniel Jones didn't get hurt, I'd still feel really good about New York. And it has, some people are, backing off the Giants because of the game against the Bengals, but there was a lot of miss. There was 2-3 touchdowns taken off the board. I felt okay about it. It was just an off game. But right now, my money's going on Washington. I'll have another one of these next week, and you don't know. Could be any one of these teams next week. So that's it for me. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. It means the world to me. I'm a new channel, a young YouTuber. All the likes and subscribes and all that, that helps me grow, and I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Peace. Stay safe.